478. Aren't you going to do the intro and I'm just going to turn it off? I thought you were going to do it here. Just do it here and then go in there. All right, we're going to go with how I started my start. I raised my hand. Yeah, just do it here because I had it all set up for this.
Are we ready to go? Hi everyone, thank you to everyone who showed up in person and welcome to everyone who's listening in online. Just before we get started, a land acknowledgement. The University of Calgary, located in the heart of southern Alberta, both acknowledges and pays tribute to the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, the Pekainai, and Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, including Chiniki, Bearstaw, and Goodstoney First Nation. The city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. So today we have a panel for you all talking about two founders about how they raised money or got money or funding to start and work on their startup. So first up we have Ali. Ali is the founder of MHCombiotic, a pioneering company dedicated to combating antimicrobial resistance. They have pioneered groundbreaking resistance to tackle this global concern head-on. Ali is an inventor and innovator, and he has a bachelor's of veterinary science, a master's, a PhD, and a postdoc in medical microbiology. And he's also been recognized as a top 40 under 40 in Calgary in 2022. So welcome, Ali. We also have Mac. Mac is a graduate of SAIT's Mechanical Engineering Technology program with a passion for solving problems using an outside-the-box approach. He is an expert in competitive robotics with professional background in avionics and aerial survey, having flown thousands of hours of survey work in traditional aircraft. He builds and flies sub-250-gram FPV drones for fun, pushing boundaries of mechanical design and 3D printing. His experience organically led him to the idea that became Threshold UAV. Welcome, Mac. Okay. Okay, you guys gotta turn your mic on. There should be a, yeah. Okay, thank you both being here. So, Ali, we'll start with you. Can you just tell us more about your startup, please?
Sure. My name is Ali. I'm CEO and founder of MHCombiotic. So I have master, PhD, and postdoc in medical microbiology. Plus, my background is I'm a veterinarian. So I'm a scientist. How I start a startup company, I have funny story behind that. We will talk about that. About our corporation, we are developing novel antimicrobials to tackle infection problem. AMR is #1 hidden pandemic right now. If you Google it and search it in WHO, is #1 problem right now after COVID. And in 2019, it caused 1.9 to 3 million deaths annually. And it's growing problem by the scientists are expecting in next 15 years, mortality rate will be higher than cancer. So it's a big problem. We are trying to have best solution. There are so many scientists are working around. There are so many companies are working around to solve this problem. And we have our own technology that we will talk about that. Thank you.
Okay, Mac, question on to you.
Hey everybody, my name is Mac. As Alesso went through in the intro, I've done a lot of different technically oriented things in my life. What I'm doing right now is working on a company called Threshold UAV. This idea came from my experiences doing aerial survey in the Canadian North. As much time as I spent flying in the air and surveying stuff on the ground, I spent as much, maybe more time sitting on the ground waiting for weather conditions to change. I realized there was a big problem there and that there was room for innovation. Threshold UAV is building a swarm drone survey system. We fly between 4 and 10 very small drones to cover large areas very quickly, and we create high-resolution data on demand.
Awesome, thank you. So, Mac, we'll start with you. Just generally speaking, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced with your startup so far?
Yeah, nothing but challenges, right? They're everywhere. Certainly, the biggest one for me was learning how to be a founder coming from a technical place. It's not easy. Everything that's comfortable in the technical world is kind of your enemy when you're trying to start a business. So it took me a long time to unlearn a lot of skills that I had learned elsewhere in life that weren't serving me well here. And beyond that, like funding is really hard to come by right now. Yeah, very high highs, very low lows, but yeah,
Can
in
you
summary.
speak a little bit, we've got a lot of engineers in the room, can you speak a little bit to that, like how that transition looked like for you from like really having the technical brain to having to turn on the business brain, and how you kind of dealt with that?
Yeah, you bet. So like I'm lucky, I've had some excellent mentors around for a lot of years. I've had a lot of people in my life who've done this before, and I'm able to pick their brain and get their opinions. So yes, that's unsolicited piece of advice number one, like get mentors. They're gonna help you a lot. But this mentor in particular is a little bit older than me. He's actually from Calgary. He exited a startup very successfully last year. He told me that I needed to get out of my head, stop being an engineer, and just go talk to your customers, because they'll tell you what you want to build. And it sounds like a cliche to me at this point, because I've heard it so many times in this space lately, but it's true, it works. Go talk to the people, they'll tell you what they want.
I promise I didn't tell them to say that, guys, because they hear me say that all the time.
It's true.
It works.
It is very true.
Okay, Ali, back to you. So just generally speaking, what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced in your startup?
So Mac was, you were lucky you had people around you, but I didn't have. Now, most of people around me, they are from academia, like students, postdocs, or professors. So it's, especially in healthcare, taking something from lab to get in the healthcare professional, like a hospital, or using in the clinics is not, it's a big deal. To be honest, when I started, my supervisor said, he was very supportive and supported me to start this startup company, but he said, chance to get it, it's very rare, because what happened, we have, in healthcare, we need two type of people. We need business people, we need scientists. And most of the cases, these two group of people, they don't trust each other, right? The scientists are saying business people, they don't know anything, and business say, okay, you're a bunch of scientists, just go play in the lab. So that's the problem. We were lucky, I was lucky, I did my postdoc in University of Calgary under MHCombiotic, which is an amazing program. We will talk about how they are funding. And we have industrial partner, private pharma lab from Montreal. So they were very supportive. I was lucky both sides, supervisor and industrial partner were supportive. So they kind of pushed me and support me. We start this journey, and that's why we start growing, and we didn't fail. So many companies, especially healthcare, in early stage they fail because you need lots of money to get something in revenue. Then at least you're not homeless. You have something to live. Then you can think about startup. So this generally speaking, but when it comes for your next question, what's the biggest problem with the startups? Always I'm giving this example. It's like driving a car. When you're driving a car, especially the most of audience are young, when you're like driving manual car, you have to pay attention for everything. So you have to pay attention about your funding. You have to pay attention about your IP, because you don't want to develop something other groups are stealing your idea. So you have to pay attention about your funding, that at least you support your own life, then you think about the technology, how you're taking in either industry or healthcare system. And the other hand, you are thinking about developing your technology. Like 90% when you're thinking about something, of course, your technology it's not in that stage, you just close your eyes and just sell it. You have to develop your technology, you have to protect IP, you have to think about raising funding, all these problems, so you have to be very active in different sides and be focused.
Amazing. So that's a great segue into, can you just tell us about your funding journey, and how did you get money for your startup, and why did you go after that kind of money?
Let's have general overview because it's a long journey, you know. And let's have general overview how we raised, then we can jump in step by step. So generally when we starting, we all have ideas, and most of the case we are not sure how we're gonna support this. And the first question, it comes, okay, how are we gonna support early stage? Are we gonna, let's say, we need money for designing our website, for corporation, whatever. They are very small money, but still, most of the cases I've been there, right? I was a student, I was postdoc, like most of the audience right now, they are from academia. So even those, 500 is a big money for a student, right? So how I started, I remember I had a meeting with Innovate Calgary people. I was very, very lucky. I've been in this environment. I started a company when I was a PhD student back home. I'm from Iran. I started over there, and nobody not only support me, but I should pay somebody to let me to do something. But here, my supervisor said, okay, why you're not reaching out? We are feeling we have something. Just reach out, Innovate Calgary, to see what their feedback. I had meeting with Jeff. Jeff, we start having the meeting. He missed the first meeting. And at the next meeting, he showed up and he was smiling. He said, why you're smiling? You waste my time. He said, I read about your technology. I failed the meeting because I had the problem, your technology can solve this. I said, how come? He said, my wife had a problem with his oral dental infection, and we are dealing with that couple months. We couldn't find any solution, and your technology can solve this problem. I said, you respond my first question. My first question was, we have this idea. How are we gonna do you think it's a good idea, or we gonna keep working on it or not? And that you're saying yes. And he said, of course, we're gonna support you, whatever you want. I said, you're gonna support me, how much you gonna pay for me? That, of course, all the students, when they have some idea, first when they are talking with the people, okay, how much we gonna get money to develop this thing? That's a wrong question. Please don't ask that question. Just start with very friendly conversation. Say, okay, I have this idea, I need money to show for to take this technology to that step, that show for investor or show for someone to raise funding, or I start my corporation officially, or I set up my website, right? And in that case, okay, they're gonna see you're thinking about technology, you're not thinking about your pocket. That's how it starts. And then at first meeting, we got the hook, and the Innovate Calgary, okay, I start with different programs. Innovate Calgary has amazing program. One of them is this, when you have idea, they're gonna say, okay, you're gonna talk to professionals. First of all, they're gonna see that idea it's worth to spend time on or not, right? So you present your idea, you don't talk about money, you talk about just idea. If the advisor, they are working over, like Jeff is working over 20 years. When you're starting in the first sentence, he's gonna get your point. Okay, this idea is worth to spend time. And the next step, he's gonna introduce you with this amazing program, like one of them is this. And in that case, you're gonna play around your idea, how to move forward. And after that, my journey started E2I. I remember still that program exists?
Yep, E2I is still running, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
E2I started and they said, okay, now I need to set up my website, and that was a pitch competition, Tenet pitch competition
Tenet, yeah.
in Ventures.
Yeah.
And I said, next month is in Venture, you wanna attend on that? I said, I am just having an idea. That's fine, you're in a good stage because already you have something. I start my corporation, but they gave me $3,000 for setting up my company, for setting up my website, and starting having, even they pay for me for the banners and stuff like that. And I prepare very catchy banners, and I got lots of interaction in that event. I got finalist.
Amazing.
I got finalists in that event. And after that, I started different programs and how you grow. And right now, when I'm thinking, we raised over 700,000 funding, non-dilutive. I didn't pay anything. They gave me 700,000. And don't get shocked. Not like I don't have single dollar in my pocket. They don't give you money. Like they are smart people. Let's say, what you need for money? Okay, I need money for my website. Okay, this is 1,000. And the next step, I need, step by step, I need 5,000 to validate certain tests. Okay, this is for your test. I worked with Alessa during Summer Accelerator. And I need some money to protect my IP. Okay, this is money for your advisor, for your IP, for whatever, for accounting, step by step, but then you're asking bigger money. Right now, I'm asking, I had meeting today, $5 million. So it starts with 5,000, you ask $5 million, right? This is general overview, and for each step how we ask this money, how we go through that, how we raise non-diluted funding, how we raise diluted funding, how we go through venture capital, how we go private funding. Totally different stories. We will talk about that. Sorry about that. I'm talking too much.
No, it's all good. We really love hearing your story. And just to be clear, non-dilutive funding, that was mainly grants, right?
Yeah, non-diluted.
So non-dilutive, you're not giving up any equity in your company. So kind of have project-based grants that I think Kurt discussed in the financial session a few weeks ago. Okay, Mac, on to you. Tell us about your funding journey with Threshold.
Yeah, so it's a process, right? Not a lot easy about this, for sure. I was thinking about all sorts of things as you were speaking there, and what's coming to mind is that you really do have to go seek out the people with the money and ask them for it, right? And that was not super obvious to me on day one, and that might sound ridiculous, but seriously, just figure out how to speak their language and go find them, talk to them. They want to help, and when they can invest in something, I understand they will. Threshold has not yet raised VC funds. We've had a decent amount of success with grant funding. Yeah, mostly bootstrapped to date though, and that's a blessing and a curse in many ways. We own the entirety of the company, and we've got a lot of opportunities ahead of us to take advantage of grant funding. And we're setting ourselves up on a timeline here to be able to move really quickly, having identified who our customer base is. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it today.
And have you guys leveraged any grants or any programming like that to kind of help?
Yeah, for sure. So we did get our first grant in May last year. NRC IRAP has been good to us. Yeah, super useful folks who are experts at all kinds of things, who want to see Alberta and Canada win and are to some degree willing to put their money where their mouth is to that end.
Awesome. Okay, so Mac, what are some of the pros and cons of your funding journey? I know you talked about it a little bit, but
yeah, so the pros, I guess I'm learning a lot, right? Like an unbelievable amount about how to pitch the product and how to find these people and how to build those networks. Con is the uncertainty, right? Bootstrapped is hard. I had a decent amount of money saved at some point in my life, and that's not necessarily the case today, but it's the nature of the game. Yeah.
I would also say too, some of the pros in terms of being bootstrapped are just you don't have to answer to anybody. You're just accountable to yourself. You get to kind of choose the direction, choose the path. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of sleepless nights of how am I going to pay for this? We have to do this project. How is that going to get funded? So yeah, lots of pros and cons. Ali, for you, you've got a very interesting funding journey with the company in Montreal and with MyTax. So what are some of the pros and cons of that?
So as Mark mentioned, the interesting part of this journey, I'm learning every day. Every day. It's very interesting. And the other hand, I'm paining every day. So this is very funny journey. And I'm seeing the audience, most of them, they are students or maybe postdocs. They have maybe ideas, that's why they show up here. And the first thing is coming about how we're gonna fund. We have idea to move forward on this. And you have to accept you're gonna fail. You have to accept every day you have some new challenges that you haven't been before, facing those type of new challenges. Almost every day you have new challenges. You're gonna learn, but because you're learning, you're gonna burn lots of ATP in scientific saying. You're gonna burn lots of energy on that. So, but I believe most of academia, like student and postdoc, they can handle it because we've been in lots of pain in the past this course, okay, do this, or always stress, right? It's kind of stress, but fun type of stress, especially you're getting money, right? Yeah. So your company is growing, you're getting, okay, this is my baby, right? And we had lots of business talks, how to raise funding, how to talk when you're talking to non-diluted funding, like agents, governmental agents, how you talk to private funding. As I mentioned, we started with private industrial partners, Pharma Lab. They are big companies, and even to catch them and say hello, they back to say hello, that's big achievement, right? and how you're gonna keep them in the loop and interested in your technology. There is two ways with big corporation. Either most of the case, over 80%, they are not that interested in your technology because they have everything. They have money, they have R&D team. So they say, okay, you're just a student at the university, you're coming and showing me the idea. Most of the time they are passing. And the second time, they are interested, they have money, and again, R&D, and they say, okay, sit here, present your idea. They are asking 1,000 questions, and when you get there, everything, and they just file the patent and everything developed for themselves. So you have to be starting, that's initial challenge that you're gonna go through it. But this different, again, it comes different program gonna help you. We have really good advisors here in Innovate Calgary. They're gonna teach you how to do that. When you're presenting your idea for funding, how you're gonna pitch. Still, I learn a lot, but I've been pitching for people, they ask 1,000 questions and they gone. Yeah. I've never seen them anymore. I don't know, they have lots of money, and the lab, right now, they are developing our technology or not. But you gotta be careful before doing anything, before showing your idea. First of all, make sure to protect them, to talk to the right people, go through to the right programs. Don't tell, like, this program doesn't fund anything, why I have to waste my time. Today, I believe you didn't announce that we have pizza, nobody show up. Like, no, most of the time here is packed, right? So just go and listen and learn. You gain enough skill for funding, then go raise funding. Without this skill, you're gonna lose your technology.
That's a good note.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Matt, you mentioned kind of IRAP funding. We did have IRAP reps come in last week to talk about it, but can you talk from the company side, like what that relationship looks like, and kind of how that came to be?
Yeah, for sure. So we got an intro early on, and that was a huge leg up for, like, definitely exercise your network. If you've got a network, use it. They stepped in at a time where no one else had stepped in for us, and were the first to say, yeah, this idea has merit. And that was very helpful in terms of subsequent conversations that happened with Alberta Innovates and with other funders in this granting space. It came in, the funding itself came in-kind stuff mostly, so we didn't see like a deposit into a bank account, but we did get a whole bunch of very useful early stage services. And interestingly, most of what we got initially was related to cybersecurity. And if you look at what we do, it makes a little bit of sense why the government wanted that to be the first grant. And yeah, that was our experience in a nutshell.
And what is your relationship like with is it the TDA or is it the?
It's ITA or
ITA.
something, yeah.
What does your relationship look like with your ITA?
Strong. It's great to have somebody in our corner for sure. When we have conversations with folks at various levels of administration at these funding organizations, it's great to be able to name drop somebody really strong in a position like he's in at IRAP.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, Ali, can you talk a little bit about kind of your transition from like postdoc, PhD to industry? How were you able to?
Before jumping on that question, I missed your MyTax question.
Yeah, go for it.
And I can have some comments on IRAP.
Go for it.
Because MyTax is amazing program. When I came first in Canada, I was like struggling with because even professors, most of the case, they don't have enough funding, and if they have funding, their own priority is to keep their own students and the postdocs. So MyTax is amazing program for this. Even the student, they have lots of student programs, and you can use them. And how I work with private industrial partner almost for free, and how I catch them in a loop through MyTax. And MyTax, because imagine industry is just paying half, and right now even they have 2-to-1 program, which is much better.
Yeah.
And in almost industry paying nothing, and they are owning the technology. On the other hand, industrial, because they are smart people, right? On the other hand, they are getting the rest of their money from Shred. So pretty much free, and they're developing technology. Why not? free money for them and free technology. And we are getting used to what's the technology. That's amazing program. I'm 100% encouraging early stage to go my tax. IRAP is, I don't think it's useful for this audience. IRAP, I had, again, funny journey. It takes me 1 year to talk ITA. ITA is number one. And if you don't feel that you need funding, you don't feel. You can't do loop, or you can't talk to higher level in IRAP. You have to reach out. You have to be very kind. You have to be patient and follow up. And they don't want to give you money. Nobody gives you free money. They want to see you how you're staying there, working hard, and you're there. Even when they don't pay you, they don't give you money, you're still there and you're working there. And when they see, and they're gonna show up, they're gonna follow you. My ITA is pharmacist, and he knows the technology. He came in our lab, he saw the prototypes, he said, we are working, right? And okay, what you need? I need 2 full-time. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Say, what else you need? Like, I need certain tests. Like, I need to do subcontract with US company. I need 100,000. Okay, they are supportive as long as you work hard and you don't first target the money. Remember.
Don't go after money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with like IRAP and Alberta Innovates is very similar, where you've really got to build that relationship and like get them to like you, because once you've been assigned like your TDA or your ITA. Yeah, whatever the acronyms are. Once you're assigned your person at those organizations, like you're stuck with them. So build that relationship, and then when they really like you, they throw money at you.
Yeah, from Alberta Innovate, most of the, like over 90% in first meeting or conversation, you're asking money. No, your idea is not enough. It's not there. You go do this. They want to see 100% you've done your homework. And okay, no, like this is not good. You have to stay.
Yeah.
Like Paige was here, a panelist. Like
last week.
Paige failed me several times. He rejected me, saying, "I'm here." And by the time I had a job opportunity. Sorry, I'm just speaking. You're sitting.
No worries, sure.
I don't speak, but when I start, I go. So, but most of the stories are. I'm pretty sure because I was there. Maybe it's interesting for you. That's why I'm trying to share my experience. So about the page, I forgot my story. So
they want to see you put the work in. Like if they're going to give you that much money, they want to see that you're going to show up. You're going to be coachable. You're going to put the work in.
Yeah. You have to keep working on that and do your homework, and you stay there. They're going to support you.
Okay. Now for my question about how do you support yourself financially moving from kind of academia into industry?
Yeah, I was going to say this. Okay, I finished my postdoc. Like everybody is, like students, they are thinking what I'm gonna do after when I graduate, right? It's the question you're dealing every night maybe. You're in dilemma. I have good idea, should I start or I gonna keep working I'm right now master, I gonna do my PhD, or like these are different, and most of the cases, it's the nature of life, right? We are picking the path before people were there, and we're gonna follow them. But most of the cases, it's very rare to start a new journey that you're gonna have all responsibility, start up. Yeah, it's big, challenge and big risk. People who are risky and they want to see they have like trust on themselves, they're gonna work hard. I'm encouraging them start up, but others, no. If you're thinking you're not that type of person, multifunctional, to learn fast, like I start without zero business background. I raised 700,000, which business people didn't raise in that short time. Because I learn, I respect that the advisor, I've been sitting there in these different events, different programs, I learn. Despite I had postdoc, I had everything, but I was sitting there and learning. Learn and gain. And yeah, I finished my postdoc. I was going to tell this story. I finished my postdoc. I had job opportunity as an assistant professor at McGill University. I did first interview, and they asked me for second. And by the time I was in Montreal, I said, exactly. I was there for business, but I got selected. And the position was exactly for me, discovering novel antimicrobial, working one of the best universities and being assistant professor, very tempting. And I talk different people, and I thought a lot. But a day before my second interview in person, I said, I'm here to do, this is my baby, I grew up, I spent 5 years on this, and I don't want to lose this. And in my second interview, I said, okay, I'm very happy to join, but I'm gonna work on this technology. Not only that, I had my interview with top 5 universities. For my second postdoc, I had with Harvard, I had with Johns Hopkins, I had with Stanford 3 times. All of them, I had with Cornell, I had with almost all of them.
Yeah.
So first, in 5 minutes, I work over 5 years. I'm very interested in this project, and I'm gonna work on that. Like, if you're not feeling yeah, that's fine. And you have to be in that stage that you believe on technology, what you're doing, and even you have in that stage, you can make decision. If you're not certain about what you're doing, for sure you can raise money, you can keep working on that.
I think, yeah, it's really important that you're very passionate and invested in what you're doing, and if that's not there, then.
Yeah, that's what my first step. I stepped back from academia, and I said,
I'm not going back to academia anymore.
I love academia. I have lots of publications like that. But yeah, business is good as well.
Yeah. Just wanted to remind everyone too, we will have time at the end for questions. If you do have questions for either Mac or Ali, we will have time at the end. Mac, over to you. So what are some of the types of startups that are getting funding right now? You did mention that, it's difficult to get funding right now. So what does that look like?
Yeah, I don't have any views or takes here that are groundbreaking or totally novel by any means, but I think that the shift that's been happening broadly is that people are not so much investing in big ideas that's going to take some amount of time to get to market and then make a whole bunch of money off of. They're looking for things that are closer to being profitable, and that can play out a lot of ways, right? If an idea is simpler, that's easier to bring to market at scale, in theory. And there's also a big element of where are you in the world? Like, what's the specialty of your area, particularly? Like, Calgary is big with life sciences stuff these days, and it's very interesting to see. Maybe not great for us as an ag tech startup on paper right now, but hey,
everybody's saying the other group is better. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Saskatchewan's
that's very
not far.
common.
I don't mind going to Saskatchewan. That's fine.
So what are sort of some of the big trends that you're seeing right now in the investment and the kind of funding landscape?
Like data collection systems in particular. I won't get specific there, and that's a bit of a biased answer coming from me, what I do, but I think we are on the cusp of an AI revolution. Again, nothing new or groundbreaking about that take, but garbage in equals garbage out with this stuff. So ways of collecting data that will drive high value algorithmic development is valuable right now. And it's a time problem, right? We can't go back and do this again and plan our approach to the market differently. So there is a lot of scrutiny going towards, fast, good ideas for data collection.
Okay, thank you. So interestingly, both of you, neither of you have gotten VC or investor funding. And I think that's sort of the stereotypical path when everyone thinks startup, they think I'm going to go to a VC, I'm going to get a big investment, I'm going to build my company, I'm going to go on Dragon's Den and get money. So Mac, we'll start with you. Can you just kind of talk about why haven't you gone that route?
Yeah, I guess before I get into that, I just two things that I want to say after listening to the dialogue previously. The first thing is that it's never going to be perfect, right? And that's a huge part of this process is learning how to navigate the uncertainty and still mostly come out on top. And the second thing is that we have to build systems that deliver value to customers, and that's the North Star. And to that end, your idea maybe gets in the way of your company to some degree. And this is the language that investors and VCs speak for the most part, right? They're really not interested in how groundbreaking your thing that you're doing is or how passionate you are about your thing. And sure, that plays a role. It absolutely plays a role. But if you're not delivering real hardcore value to real clients in a way that they can look at your business as a proposal and say, yeah, I'm gonna make money on this soon in today's economic environment and all the rest, right? It's not easy to get that attention. So when we do get that attention, we have to be very concise and be very clear about what we're doing. And to get to a place where I can talk about what I'm doing from that position has been a process. So we've started having conversations with VCs over the last 2 months. We're looking to raise Q1 2024. We'll see. I'm very happy that we're in a position where it's not do or die for us to raise that VC investment. And because we're where we're at today, that is the reality. Sure, it may not have been my number one choice, but yeah, lots of things change. It's about like it starts with the mindset, and then it ends with just mostly winning. And you have no idea like the kinds of things that are going to come down the pipeline at you. And yeah, I'm getting to a place where I can sit in front of investors and talk about my company a little bit more comfortably, a little bit more concisely. And hopefully, this time next year, if we're talking about this again, I'll be on the other side of that VC-funded veil of whatever.
And what were some of the things that you did to kind of get yourself to a place where you're actually ready to start? In like not even like necessarily asking investors for money, but just networking, getting in front of the room with them.
Accelerators are huge, right? That's how we met, was the SVG Thrive Academy Accelerator Program. Yeah, we're lucky. We have a lot of resources here. Government of Alberta is spending money actively to promote technology development, and one of the ways that that's manifesting is these early stage programs where you can go and you can learn a little bit about the language that you need to adopt and the way that you need to think about your problem and really not your solution. And, most people in this space have heard some element of this, and a lot of people, I think, are at odds with it because people are passionate about their ideas. Right? And it's like, I love ideas. I have ideas that make me really excited and make me want to spend a lot of time and money building them, but that doesn't mean they're good ideas to build. And that was a tough thing to learn. But yeah, I'm still going, still here. Take those lessons and keep on moving forward, right?
Absolutely. Okay, Ali, for you, why have you not raised money from investors
Let's
yet?
first follow up. Mac he's in really good place. I'm gonna follow up.
Yeah. Go for it.
If VC, very short response, if VC feel that if they don't fund your company, you're gonna die, they're gonna let you die.
100%. 100%. You can smell the blood in the water.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
That's
this
very
isn't good.
simple.
I don't
You
wanna
have
be
to
here.
do your homework. And even like, let's say you're a student, you have amazing idea. You're developing amazing thing, right? And tomorrow you're asking your dad you'll live for 7. Okay, I'm even less money. Like I need 5,000 to develop my idea. They're gonna ask 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
Why you're doing this? Why? What? When? Where? Okay, and you're going to talk the people. They are thirsty with money, right? Why they give up the money for you? And they're gonna give you money in the place that they are 100%. They're gonna get their money back. Not only after 5 years, as Max said. I'm gonna put money after 3 years. I'm gonna get much better money than when I put my money in real estate.
Yeah.
When I put my money in bank. When I put my money like zero risk to get my money back. Okay, you have to be in that space, and most of us we are not in that space. We have to go through different programs to learn.
Yeah.
You have to gain this skill set to be in that space. And another comments I'm giving you. Be focused. First thing in the first step. I'm seeing lots of people, like I can't be jealous for the company right now. I'm been in different events and I'm presenting different people. Most of the cases, people are sitting next to me. They raised $20 million. I can't be jealous. They are in the space like 10 years, and they been like 10 years and like. They pass all these steps. I can't think like what they are thinking, because each step, right now you are in the idea step. Most of audience, your idea step. Okay, idea, what you're gonna do? You're gonna take the courses to develop your idea, right? In the next step, you're gonna raise up small money to show your idea. Then after that, when you're showing your idea, you're gonna go think just for grant. Like this is a step by step. The grant started small grant, and I was 3,000 for me it was big money.
Yeah.
Right now 100,000 I don't waste my time to spend. To be serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna be in the space that because you need bigger money to solve your problem, right?
Yeah.
So step by step. I never think about VC because I was not in that. That's why they are asking, because it has own skill set. I never gained that, why I have to go through it. And recently, I'm learning through the IDAP. They gave me a really good program that's called Business Advisor Program. I'm talking with the people, they close the deals $1 billion. So they are teaching you how to talk to
do those,
yeah, and they say, and even, let's say last year, if I go VC and I raise the money, I'm lucky I didn't go that. And even you raise the money, you're destroying your company, because if early stage private funders come, they don't give money for sake of God, right?
Yeah.
They're giving the money.
To make money.
And if you don't raise money in the right time, you're putting stress in your corporation, right? And right now, it's healthcare, it takes time to go in the market. If I raise today, the clock is ticking, right? They're gonna wait for the money, they're gonna knock you down after a year, give you more stress. Where is my money, right?
Yeah.
You've been the right, so that's why in the events I'm presenting, and I'm immigrant, I have accent, everybody likes when I'm talking, and after my presentation, they're showing up, okay, it looks you have a good idea, I'm gonna invest in your company. I said, I have 700, and I applied for this much grant. For now, I'm not feeling, because I don't wanna put money in my bank account and burn the money and give more stress in the corporation. And you knock my door, and you get big chunk of my corporation that I spent over years to get in that place.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I said earlier, like when you have those investors come in, like they own a piece of your company and they want to say, and they're going to put stress on you because they want to make a return on their money. So there are some pros to bootstrapping and to being in charge and being able to make your own decisions without that like timeline pressure.
And just to jump in for one sec there, in those circumstances, it's very complex, right? There are a lot of layers going on with your timeline and your funding and your investors' interests and the way that the market is developing. And there's nothing but complexity at every turn. And I think there's a lot to be said for like striving for extreme simplicity at times, especially in an ideation phase, or if you're in a spot like I'm at, in like a bootstrap company phase. We're not committed to anybody. We haven't made any of these decisions yet. We can stay really agile as we need to, and then when that opportunity does present itself, like I'm confident in my technology. We've built it, it works. I was a surveyor, I built it because of that experience that I had. That's not the problem. The problem is, who am I selling it to, and for how much? How often are they buying it? And do they really, really need it? Right? Is the market growing? It's the basic startup questions there. And when you're talking to your board or you're talking to your investors way down the road, if it's very clear, I sell this for this much to these people, that's your North Star, right? Complexity becomes less complex if you have one vertical and one product and one customer, like holy crap, everything else gets simple, right? So to think about that in the planning phase, I think is at least worth it. And to try to strive for that during the execution phase, it's big. Questions?
Absolutely. Yes. Question.
Just about the vernacular.
Yeah. So like in industry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, tech jargon. I'm trying not to, but here we are.
But yeah, so just sort of like if you're in agriculture, if you're in pharmaceuticals, those are the different verticals. Okay, so my final question before we open it up is just what are some of the biggest challenges or roadblocks that you guys have faced so far? I don't know. Whoever wants to go
I
first.
speak too much, Mac.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Like,
I'm feeling bad.
I don't know. Like, I'll go a little bit high concept with this, and like the whole challenge here is to make something with nothing, right? Like, you're investing your time and you're trying to identify that value and you're trying to make it real. as fast as humanly possible, and it's not something that's easy. And like to loop back around to what we started this conversation with, like the driving a car metaphor, analogy, whatever, it's curious because we all have memories of that experience, and to think about the mistakes we made early on, in retrospect now, it's laughable, but in the moment, it was existential. It was life or death, right? And now we know, like thinking back, okay, the goal of getting in the car age 16 and driving on Deerfoot Trail for the first time is to like, I don't know, A, stay mostly in my lane, like B, kind of go the same speed as everyone else, and like C, definitely don't end up head on the other lane, right? Like that, definitely don't do that. And that was clear then, and that is clear now, but there's so many other things that now, in retrospect, you can color those decisions differently. And you're gonna have that, if you go this route, this entrepreneurship thing, you're gonna have those same experiences. And it's just as existential, and it feels just as terrible, right? But you're doing something that's fundamentally hard, like really, really fundamentally hard. Yeah, I guess that's my general thoughts there.
You forgot to say you're in Deerfoot, but you forgot to say -40 and
Yeah, that's right, yeah. True that.
You're in Calgary.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes, you want me to follow up that
Go for
question?
it, yeah.
And you're in Deerfoot, most of the cases for innovation, you don't have any road, like you're between nowhere. Because that's big challenge. You're trying to go the way, there is two types of people around you. First, Mac was lucky people around you were in that journey. To me, nobody, especially I'm immigrant, I don't know that much people here. So people around you, either they are very rare people, they had in same path and same closed technology, closed market. And of course you can knock their door and you're kind of grow. If you grow, you're going to, to compete with them, right? I was going to use the bad term, like, hey, let's be gentle. And on the other hand, most of the cases, people, they are there, they don't know that much about your technology, and they've never been there. But we were lucky, as I said, this is the biggest problem that I'm saying this is the big, I don't want to go like all of them, IP, again, funding, all this, right? I'm talking very general.
So it's just all a challenge, isn't
Yeah, I'm talking all of the challenge, but we have this problem, you're gonna start a new journey that almost, you have to discover what's the road. You have to make the road
You're
Deerfoot
building the road.
first,
Yeah.
and then you think about the car and maybe it's gonna snow. And, and on the other hand, nowadays we were lucky. Like imagine, I was talking for the people, they were postdoc or PhDs in state, they say, when we are talking about the idea and starting like startup company, stuff like that, it's front upon, like they are saying, okay, keep it quiet. You're a student, you're a scientist, you're in academia, you have to be there. You can't think, you're thinking about money. But the fact is all, like nowadays, everybody's accepting, even we are scientists, even we are students, even we are in academia, we have to think how we're gonna use these skills to make money. Right? And that's why innovation started, that's why these programs started, and these programs gonna help you to solve this kind of problem, you're middle of nowhere, and there are people around you like Jeff, to show you, okay, maybe it's better to make Deerfoot here.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys both so much. I'm gonna now open up, does anyone have any questions?
Thank you so much. Really insightful sharings, and I really appreciate you sharing all of your journey. I'm Farzana. I am also trying to solve some of the problems in healthcare system. And my question to you is, now that I'm in we are all problem validation stage, like formulating your ideas and trying to find your solution according to the needs of your clients or your customers, right? And then when you are actually bootstrapping, you are putting in a lot of time from your data, from your routine into that business, into developing the maybe prototype or testing, client engagement, all those things. Back of your mind, do you think that when you were doing it yourself, what were the things that you thought that you came across late because you were so engaged in prototyping and in the actual development process? I'd like to know what should be going in the background of my mind as an entrepreneur that will help me think ahead of time.
Perfect question. Always when you're starting about something, especially about innovation, especially about starting new journey, always remember, if you can do every day is perfect, once a week, sit there and say I did this week or during this time, and step back what you did, right? Step back and say, last week or last month I was in this stage, I did prototype, I was in dilemma always we are in dilemma in our life, right? I was thinking to do this prototyping, or I was thinking to pass my exam, or I was thinking to solve my family problem. I'm talking very general, like I'm not sure what's your example. And did I make the right decision? So that's really important. But that it prevents you going in journey 2 years, you make it Deerfoot Road 2 years, and after say, okay, no, I have to make like another road, like 16 Ave, I don't know. The only streets I know in Calgary, right? So every day you step back and think what you did. If you don't do that, maybe you're wasting 1 week of your time. But if you don't do that, you do every year, you're wasting 1 year of your time. I'm talking very general. And on the other hand, kinda you started with the question that when you're trying to hit a milestone, you're thinking that gonna waste your time or it gonna, and Mac mentioned that, right? The thing that I'm trying to put my time, I'm just wasting my time, or it gonna pay me back. Right? You have to have long-term plan, you have to have short-term plan, and you have to think after 5 years where you're gonna stand. You're gonna have a like company with 20, 100 people, employees, to get headache from everybody, and you run your technology, or you're gonna have an employee and just normal life, like 90% of the people in the public, they do that. Or you wanna be, like, if you want to be different, you have to act different. You have to put in your paper, every day check what I'm going to do. So in that case, you can make better decisions.
Thank you so much. I have another question.
Did I respond?
Yes. Yeah. Reflection is something, and that interval should be as short as possible. I mean, what I did yesterday, maybe I can reflect on that today first, and then I go forward with the work that I have.
And for those milestones, these kind of advisors, I'm feeling Alyssa is kind of advisor, because I ask questions. I had interview, I asked her to sit there and listen to my presentation. So always people around you, if you're feeling somebody can help you, even you're not sure what you're doing, just ask them. The people are very welcome to help. Like most of people, they're helping you for free. So they take
Alyssa is an example. I bombard her with questions.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's kind of annoyed, but she never expresses that.
Yeah.
All right. My second question would be, how did you identify the people that you can work with? And there is a sub question: how do you operate on a democratic mode? Like, do you take advice from all the people in your team, and then you kind of come to a solution or a decision, or you delegate? And how do you delegate?
I never learned this politic terms, democratic, and I'm not interested to learn that. I hate politics. I hate politicians, generally of different countries. And about how you deal people around you, that's number one important thing, especially in the startups. You're gonna deal with so many people. You're gonna deal with investors, you're gonna deal with people who are going to work with you, and so many people. And it's not only about the startup, it's your life journey. You wanna grow in the society, 50% is you, another 50% people around you. And how you find your right match, you will find your match. Like, we don't have bad people in society, right? People are thinking close to your mind. that's your right people, right? And for that, you gotta be careful both sides are happy. If you only think about your journey, like I'm gonna hit this milestone, let's say if I burned Alisa time and so I waste, and after that, goodbye, see you. And this is life. Even Alisa is nice and she didn't catch up, okay, what's going on? I spend my time, I'm expecting my share, right? But that's the life. You're gonna pay for that, right? And it's not about just startup. You're gonna live the life and you try to manage everything. Put always yourself in, like right now when I'm talking, I'm feeling because I was there as a student, right? I'm trying to talk the way that I was thinking when I was a student. That's why I can catch your mind. That's why like everybody like, okay, listen to see, okay, this is question I had. Like, let's say, what's he's talking about? Like, maybe I solved my dilemma. Like, tonight I can sleep better. So always, if you think like that, even the people, maybe they are not good with other people, they're gonna be good with you because they're seeing you're in the right path, you're thinking positive, you need help, and you appreciate the people time. Always appreciate people time.
Thank you
Most
so
of the case, even you don't pay, you don't pay with simple appreciation, and you understand you're taking, and they are happy, you know?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. And thanks so much for your journeys and sharing with us. My question is if you could touch a bit more on the funding experience through developing a minimum viable product, what that looked like for you, and then through that process, when you decided to sort of go towards IP and what that journey looked like for you.
You go, I speak to me.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, again, I guess I'll go back to what I said earlier about like the striving for simplicity with the creation of the business being very important to things falling into place and playing out subsequently. Like in my case, I had talking about IP, I had no idea what a patent might look like for my technology. I didn't know who my customer was. I knew I had a thing that could do something pretty special, but that does not a business, nor a patent, nor anything else really make. And the moment that the IP became real for us was when we publicly demonstrated our product at a trade show and started a clock. Right? We've got 1 year then to do something about that. And lately there has been some great conversations with Innovate Calgary, Elevate IP program. Fingers crossed. I don't know if I totally answered that question, but can you remind me what the original question was?
How you went about funding your final product.
I'm going to quickly throw in, we are talking about IP next week as well.
Okay. Yeah, so like the funding I think is like, I do have a couple of thoughts that I would like to share broadly. Like the first is that there's probably people in this room who sort of know that you're gonna wind up doing this, right? And you can't discount that, but you can nurture it in a very efficient way relatively to how some people go about like exploring business creation and starting something. It's not gonna be easy, right? It's never gonna be perfect, all of this stuff. And if that doesn't like light a fire in you and make you want to like try harder, you should probably consider that, right? I had a mentor early on tell me that, speaking for me, he said, well, it's better to be like a CTO than a CEO anyway, right? I'm like, oh, hang on, wait a second, but who's going to be the CEO here, right? And I knew in that moment, like I had to step into that role. I wasn't going to be able to find a CEO who could do the CEO role as easily as I could find a CTO to do a CTO role eventually. And for our MVP, I got really lucky because it came down to the people that I had around me. And I cannot, like, this is key, right? It's about the networking, it's about the people, and it's about asking for what you actually want. Because when I went to the smartest people in my life and asked them to help me, they friggin' helped me, right? I had like 6 people give me a significant amount of their time, and we built a prototype, we demonstrated it, and it furthered what we're working on in a way that I couldn't have really imagined. And at the beginning of last summer, I was worried about how I was going to pay for an MVP. And I started talking to people, and the MVP came together, and there it was. It was, yeah, pretty incredible. There are ways to do it that aren't money, right? And investors are going to love to see that eventually too, right? Like, if you can own your own destiny, that's key in a few ways.
Anyone else have any other questions? Ricky, do we have any questions online? Well, with that, if there's no other questions, thank you both so much for being here and sharing your journeys and all of the wisdom that you've acquired in that journey. We really appreciate it, and yeah, thank you so much.